Hi my little bets, I hope you're doing well today and welcome to a new video. Today, instead of talking about what I'm drawing right now, as you can see I'm drawing just a gorilla. It was for a commission for a streamer called Pack Vampire. So please check it out if you speak Italian, because he makes Italian streams. And but don't worry, if you are Swiss German, he also speaks fluently Swiss German, which helped me a lot, because even though I'm Italian and I speak Italian, I am not really good in articulating well in Italian, especially not during texting. So yeah, the German helped a lot. But maybe I can talk about why I started to draw, because maybe that's interesting. I don't know. Everything started at the age of 11 when I met my best friend Momo Art. Please check her out, she is absolutely adorable. And she was 9 at that time. And her mom and my mom, they were best friends. And back then she was drawing anime, and I didn't know what anime really was back then. So I was asking her about, hey, what you're drawing here, that seems kind of interesting though, and she explained everything a little bit to me. And she was like, it's so fun to draw that, you can try it out yourself. Back then, for me, drawing was more like a childish thing. I don't know why I thought that, but for me, I don't know, back then it was more like a child's play shit. I apologize to every single one here right now for thinking like that. I was 11. But I went back home with my family, or more like with my mom and with my brothers, and I was like, you know what? I could try that out. Literally just sitting down and trying this style out. I just knew that it was about drawing characters with big googly eyes. And I tried that, and they were cringe, okay? For some reason I drew a lot of Native American girls with ponchos, or I tried to draw like that because I just adore ponchos. Even today, I would love to have a poncho, but sometimes these ponchos are super expensive. Oh man. But while drawing, I noticed that it was super fun. I mostly drew things that I knew Momo drew, so I tried to copy that, because for me she was the one who got me into that, so why not try to draw like her. Nowadays, again, super cringe, but it helped me back then to kind of see how everything works. After a while, I also bought my very, very first anime learning drawing book. It was a very, very big one, and I was super proud of it. I read that shit 10 times a day. I didn't really read it. I was mostly looking at the drawings and pictures that they're shown, and that's how you do it, these are the guidelines and all of that. And I copied and traced a lot of that, and I felt like I was the best artist in the world. Holy fuck. But I noticed that my anatomy got a little bit better. Still cringe, but it got better. And that was just the beginning of my drawing spree. I drew all the time. And first, for my mom, it was so cute to see me having a hobby like this. But after a while, it became a little bit too much. My room was like cluttered in drawing, and that's also a reason why I started to like making sure that I don't have too many drawings around here, because first of all, it can end up as a mess, and the second thing is why keep drawing that you drew for like so long time ago. It's just for me, just for like organizing everything. But who knew that art became like my coping mechanism really early on in my life. When I was 13 years old, no, I was 13, I had to change class. It's in Switzerland, so that when you go into the 7th year in school, they will analyze your grades, and depending on how good your grades are, you will get into a class where you in a higher school rank or in a lower school rank. And because of my grades, I wasn't a genius, and you could totally see that. I got into the lowest rank, and that's why I had to change not only school, which was still close to where I live, but also change class. And this class was seriously the most hated class in the whole school, and I was the most hated child in that school, just because there was someone who just I learned that later on, and after some years, she just didn't like me for how I looked and what I am, and she made everybody in school hate me, like literally hate me. And I started to not very much like talk with them anymore, because I was too scared to say anything, and either I spoke Italian to them or I just refused to talk to them, and that didn't make anything better, of course. But what I knew I was good in is art. So I was drawing a lot during school time, which please don't draw during school. Please pay attention to your teacher. It's rude towards the teacher, and it's not good. You're there to learn, of course. But for me, I just needed to draw because I was too overwhelmed with the reality being in that class and being hated for pretty much everything except for like drawing. They asked me all the time like, hey, can you draw me this? Can you draw me that? And of course, because I wanted their approval, I drew everything for them, of course, for free. Nowadays, if I had the possibility to go back in time, I would go to my young self and smack myself in the face and say, charge something, at least a little bit, because these bitches don't deserve free art. Just you get a little bit of approval. But I did that. I drew a lot for them, and I hated to draw for them, but at the end of the day I wanted to be approved by them, and I thought that when I draw them what they wanted, I would get approved by them, but that never really happened. It even came so far that I was drawing something, was a comic sheet of one of my original stories that I had back then. I was so proud of it. I did everything by hand, like even like the gray shading. I did everything by hand. And I just wanted to go to the toilet really quick, and then when I came back from the toilet, I saw one of the guys having my drawing in his hand and rip it like rip it in two pieces. I was so mad I couldn't even cry about it. I tried to fix it with tape, but that just made me lose it. I was, because of that, even too scared to leave any drawings on my table at that point. And I guess they did it to kind of like tell me I should stop drawing, because of that the class got sometimes in quite some trouble, because I was sometimes drawing more than doing homeworks. I have to admit I didn't do homeworks because I forgot it all the time, because I had too much time just for drawing. At that point I understand it now, that they had problems with me, and also that they're kids. We were kids all together. And I guess they just wanted to tell me, like, stop drawing and do something productive, more productive. And that didn't help at all. It even made it worse. I started to draw even more. It became so extreme with my drawing at one point that I remembered my mom was like once telling me, for a punishment, I don't know why, but she told me I wasn't allowed to draw. She took away paper and pencils, and I had a mental breakdown pretty much. And I took one of my old diary books that I never really used, that I got one day as a child and never really finished it, and I used that as a sketchbook, drawing just whatever. And because I was scared that my parents would look into my room to see if I would draw, I started to take it out to our yard and draw outside, because I just wanted to draw, and I would do everything to just escape the reality. For an hour I just didn't really care. That's why I think it's nice when you have a hobby, but please be careful, because sometimes having a hobby can also turn out into something a little bit more toxic. Like for me, art became extremely toxic. Nowadays I can, if I feel like extremely down and like overwhelmed, I feel like I have to draw, I either draw vent art or I do something else, talk with someone like my boyfriend or with my best friends. That helps a lot. For those who maybe ask, hey, you draw vent art, why we never see something like that? It's because some of the vent art that I did back then and today, they are quite gruesome. And first of all, I don't want to put that out because they're so gruesome. And the second thing is, for me, vent art is something personal. I do this mostly for myself and not for any beneficial things. And that's why I don't post that. Sorry. After school, I couldn't really draw that much because I was way too invested in my career that I was learning. I am a certified baker and I had to focus more on that. I did draw sometimes, but not really that much. And I guess that helped me a lot to separate art into my hobby and not into something way too important for me. Still, art is the most important thing in my life, but not in a way that it was when I was a child. Vent art is totally okay. Drawing when you feel you need it, it's totally okay, but don't escalate it. Let it escalate like I did it. It wasn't fun to look at, trust me. When I graduated as a baker, that was, I guess, the time when I really thought I can now focus more into becoming an artist. Because when I was a child, like back then when I was like using art in a more toxic way, I went to my mom one day and I was like, hey mom, listen, about the career choice, you know, I want to become an artist on the internet, you know, but you cannot learn that anywhere, so because of that I don't want to search for a career. And I didn't say that exactly, but it was pretty much, it was close enough. And my mom was like, yeah, sure, if you want to become an artist, and that's fine by me, do whatever you want to do, but for fuck's sake, you will first get a fucking career and then you can do whatever the fuck you want. And that is the best choice I ever did, because now I can say if something happens, I can still land on both of my feet and can get a job in a bakery without a problem and still get a safe income. It's fun to me to see sometimes young kids saying, I want to become the next Logan Paul, so I don't have to get a career thing or whatever. And I'm like, kid, listen, do you really think that you're the only one with that idea? Trust me. Some people are lucky with it and some people aren't. And please get a career. Please get some kind of education before you really get like out there and become an artist, because if you do it right now, there is the possibility that you will fail, and if that day comes, then it's difficult to get back on your feet without having a career, without having any kind of education. So please do that. Don't just jump in there and be like, I want to be an artist, or I want to be a YouTuber or streamer or whatever. Please learn something. The internet is a big place and that won't go away that quick, so take your time with that, please. Please. But that's how I started to draw. That's how I became an artist. And maybe you will see that and think like, cool, kind of motivational. And please, with that, what I told you, please don't comment like, oh, you poor baby or something, or oh, you poor victim there. I'm not a victim. I don't want to be called the victim. I just told a story. That's it. That's a part of my life that I have now. I am by no means a victim. That was nothing. I had to go through other shit in my life, but I'm still not a victim. I am strong enough to talk about it. I am a strong, independent woman. I can deal with that shit. I just wanted to tell a story, and maybe someone out there has the same problem like I had back in the days and doesn't know how to get out of there. That's maybe this can help you. And let me tell you one thing. you're not alone with certain feelings, and having a hobby to distract yourself is fine, but please talk with someone. Talk with a teacher, talk with friends, talk with your family, talk with someone, because it's about you, it's about your health. And if you don't talk about it, it is not a fun feeling. You will get frustrated, overwhelmed all the time. So take care of yourself, talk. You're not weak just because you are looking for help. By no means. You're even the strongest person in the room. And to all the people who are going through that kind of shit, you are the strongest person in the whole world, because having to deal with all of that and still getting up to work or to school or whatever and deal with the shit over and over again every day, you're fucking strong. But please seek help. You deserve that. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you don't have so far, please consider to subscribe to me. And wash your hands, stay safe. We are still living in a really strange place. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye bye!